One last presentation here for you today. Alexis from NYM Protocol.
Hello, thank you very much. Hello and welcome to everyone. I'm Alexis Roussel, I'm the CEO of NYM Technologies SA, and we're basically working on a privacy infrastructure. So I'm going to start with privacy, because what we see in terms of stack that we are working on in the crypto space is that we are building on a very transparent way, and we have conscious about our privacy, but if the whole system is fully transparent, you can actually track more things than you believe. So we believe that privacy is a very strong and important point for the future. People want to be private, people are more free when they're private, there is a whole business model today which has been built around all the data that you let through the whole system, your metadata, because the data that you just express, like the content of your message or what you publish as picture, is a very tiny piece of the puzzle. The most of the data that is useful for the company is who you talk to, when, and what are the patterns that you are leaving behind. So, and the whole business model, which is called capitalism of surveillance capitalism, which has been built and based on all these data that you let through. So there is a conscious about this, that there is a link between your own freedom, your own liberty as being able to make your own choices, and the amount of privacy you have. But how do you build privacy on systems which are completely open, right? The internet that we have right now is transparent. It's based on a stack which is called TCP/IP. And when you create a blockchain on top of it, like Bitcoin or like others, you can add as much as privacy inside the network. Even Monero Run, for example, which is extremely private, you can shuffle coins and make it in a way that you don't see who I am sending to. But underlying the underlying network stack, where your computer is connecting to the internet to actually broadcast a transaction on a specific node, this can be always seen. So people have been trying to protect themselves through different ways. So the two main ways one is the VPNs. You take a VPN, which can actually go through a network of malicious people, and you have an exit point, but you still have to trust this exit point. Another example is Tor, which is a decentralized network which is proposing onion routing and allows you to discuss with another computer on the other side by removing at least the information of your IP address, which is pretty good already. But these two models have also limitation. A VPN, you have to actually trust the VPN company that you are using, and there have been cases where the data have been leaked and they could see all the customers' information. And Tor actually can be de-anonymized in a certain way. The point of Tor is not to provide anonymity, it's to provide some kind of obfuscation of the IP address. It does that, but if there is enough resources spent on Tor, you can actually de-anonymize and know who is using Tor. What we saw with Tor and with VPN is that there is a demand for it, and there is actually people ready to pay for that. So there's a conscious of that privacy matters and needs to be paid for. So what we've designed is a generic system based on three elements, which is a NYM token, the NYM mixnet, which is the core engine of our system, and then the credential system. I'm not going to go through all of them because I only have still 11 minutes left, so it's a bit short. I will go mostly on the token economics, because I think this is the most interesting for this crowd. A bit on the mixnet, because to understand how it works. But the idea there is that we're going to build a system that provides privacy through a mixnet, which is an engine which works in a specific way. And this engine is actually run by a community of people providing infrastructure, and they are organized around a token economics, right? So the first thing is the mixnet, and the mixnet has, if you know how Tor works, it is there is some comparison elements there. It does some onion routing, but the main idea, without going too much into the details, is that it creates a layer on top of the normal internet that we have right now. It creates a layer of communication, which is there is so much noise in it, there is so much distraction, that if I use this network to send some data, some generic data through the system, and someone else who's on the other side, anyone who's observing this network and trying to say who is talking to who cannot do this. The network becomes unobservable, and there is no way to link two people talking to each other. So the use case, a very simple use case for us, the first is the Bitcoin wallet. You have a Bitcoin wallet on your phone. There is a Bitcoin node somewhere which is being run by the person providing the app. And basically, why would your network operator know that you have a Bitcoin wallet on your phone? They don't need to know this, right? Swisscom doesn't need to know that you have a Bitcoin wallet on your phone. Today, they do know, right? Because once you're connecting with your app, there's a normal internet communication that goes to the wallet, to the back end of the wallet. You can add a VPN, but it pushes away the issue to the VPN provider. So here the idea is that inside the app, we can add a small NIM client that will send the data through the network of NIM, and it will be received by the back end of the Bitcoin wallet through NIM, and people can see that you're using NIM, but people cannot see that you're talking to an actual Bitcoin node. You can also do the same thing with a bank application. You can actually transfer a real identity, but the point for a bank, for example, is that you can protect yourself from people eavesdropping on your network, and the idea is that only you and your customer know that you have a relationship. The rest of the world doesn't need to know, right? So basically, in order to solve privacy, we create a layer of anonymity in the middle on top of a transparent world. We create this anonymity layer, and then once you have an anonymous layer, you can build true private communication between the people. All right, now we create cover traffic, there's time obfuscation, there's lots of details that we can, if you have questions, I can explain afterwards. But now we're going to focus on so this is a scheme a bit how it looks like, the different packets. I'll go here, but there's a token. So the whole idea of this network, it's a network of computers which are mixing these packets, this traffic. And these computers, if we look at the Tor network, people are providing these servers on the network, but they do it in an altruistic way. It's very hard to actually be convinced that a system is good enough, so you dedicate energy, you dedicate servers to that system for good reason. You feel good, all right, by providing a computer to Tor. And we think this is not sufficient. So if we want to scale on a larger infrastructure, the people who are providing infrastructure should be incentivized. So here, this is the point of the token, is that the system has to be paid for. So the people providing the service are getting actually a reward based on their activity, on their good activity. So they have to provide that they're mixing correctly all the packets, and this is also a way to fight some types of attacks. But they have to provide this proof of mixing, and the price of the token will actually represent a certain amount of data that can be used through the network. So basically, instead of paying a fixed fee of 5 francs for your VPN, you will buy a token, and it will give you a certain amount of data, of credit on the network that you can use, and the people on the network who are providing this will benefit from this. So in order to set up this network, all the people who are providing the networks needs to build up their own reputation, and this is where we put staking on blockchain type of computer. So these computers are just running a mixing network. They don't do any activity on the blockchain side. But still, we have a blockchain on the side, and if the person wants to actually register his computer is on the network and wants to participate in this infrastructure, providing anonymity for the users, well, they have to bond their machines with some tokens, and they can allow, or they will look for people to actually stake with them to give them reputation. So people will bet on them. Part of the community who has some tokens will actually bet and give value to some of the nodes who will become leaders of this network. So what we have is in our token economics, we have a large community basically where all the people using the system, we have first the users of the systems are the user that have, here we're talking about the network itself, so they have the tokens, and the users of the network of those tokens have several things they can do. So I can say first they can play with staking on some machines. They can become, if they want, mixed node providers. There is a validator set which is running a small blockchain on the side, which is actually capturing these tokens. I mean, like registering those tokens. And for the ones who are interested, this is a Cosmos-based blockchain. We use a Tendermint SDK, which works very fine. We were able to use a gravity bridge to represent the token on Ethereum, for example. And then we have the service provider, which are the ones who are going to give you the end user access to the NYM network. So the bank who wants his own people to use the app through NYM. And so these people will actually buy some tokens and will use them in the network to give access to their users. So the final user, maybe you will be using NYM in your phone without noticing it, but the service provider who is providing the service will actually pay for that. So the same way they are paying for bandwidth, or they are paying for some computer resources right now. There's some also credentials. Credential is the way we show that we have paid, and I will skip on this. We have this flow of the whole economy in the system. So you have the mixnet, which is the core technology, which is designed to provide anonymity in the network, and there is a whole ecosystem around to maintain and to give value to this network. So what is interesting here is that one of the core principles is that the anonymity, the security and the anonymity is for the people who are using the mixnet. So if I am a person using the mixnet to send packets through it, I receive the benefits of being anonymous with this network. But everyone who's providing the infrastructure, the one who have some kind of influence, are extremely transparent. We can see exactly who are the operators, where they are located. So we are like really going into the core principle of the crypto movement, which says like transparency for the users or for the individuals, and transparency for the powerfuls and protection anonymity for the users, which is the key principle here in the system. Yeah, so we have a timeline. So right now we are live since 2 months. We had a long time development phase where we had a testnet for almost 2 years. We are funded with some good partners like A16Z and Polychain and Wobi, Kraken, Binance are our supporters. We did our public sale 2 months ago. We're live. The basic system of the mixnet is working. Our chain is working. People are starting to build on top of there. We have already 400 or almost 500 mix nodes running, and providing a basic level of servers, and we have already committed with all our investors a development fund on top of this of $300 million. We are currently expanding in terms of the core team to build up continue build up the tech stack. We have some notable figures with us, like Chelsea Manning, who is one of our security advisor and is working with us. Yeah. So I can invite you to go to our website, read the white paper, which has been written by Harry Halpin and Claudia Diaz. Claudia Diaz is professor in KU Leuven, and they worked a lot on this concept of providing anonymity. The code source is running now, it can be used, and we're basically that's it. So my conclusion, based on the main topic, which was DAO and privacy, I talked mostly about privacy, how we rebuild privacy on transparent system. But basically, the conclusion is like, in order to do so, in order to build this privacy and this new layer of infrastructure, we're actually building a DAO, and the DAO is going to run the system. We ourselves are not running any of the code. The whole system is already run by our partners. We are responsible of building the code itself, but the infrastructure is already not ours. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.